Yes, exactly. We'll twist the story. Make it seem like Amina's trying to cover up something bigger. We'll plant the seed of doubt. And when the time comes, we'll make sure Musa chooses us over her. The tension in the room grew even heavier after Amina's warning. Her words echoed in everyone's mind. When I'm done, we'll see who is really left standing. Fatima couldn't sleep. She had felt control slipping from her fingers ever since Amina's quiet threats. Amina had kept silence for so long, but now she was speaking out. That wasn't part of the plan. Fatima had always thought that if she pushed hard enough, Amina would finally break. But she hadn't. Instead, she had stood her ground and now she was dangerous. Sitting in her room late one night, Fatima gathered the co-wives, Aisha and Rukaya. They had to act fast before Amina could tell Musa everything. We have to make sure he never believes her, Fatima whispered urgently, her eyes darting towards the door. If Amina talks, everything we've worked for will fall apart. We can't allow that. We'll be exposed. I don't want to be exposed by her. Aisha nodded, her face pale. But what if Musa listens to her? What if he already suspected something? Fatima narrowed her eyes, thinking fast. Nah, then we give him a reason not to believe her. We need to turn this around. We'll make it seem like she's been the one lying all along. Rukaya, always quick to follow orders, spoke up. What if we say that Amina's been hiding something? That she didn't want him to know about her past while he was gone? Fatima smiled darkly. Yes, exactly. We'll twist the story. Make it seem like Amina's trying to cover up something bigger. We'll plant the seed of doubt. And when the time comes, we'll make sure Musa chooses us over her. The next day, Fatima began her plan. She caught Musa alone in the courtyard, sitting with his head in his hand. His confusion was clear. He was torn between the conflict stories. He had loved Amina deeply, but after years of being fed lies, it was hard for him to know what to believe. Fatima approached slowly, her voice soft and full of concern. Musa, my brother, I've been thinking about your newest wife, Amina. You know, Amina said the other night, you should be careful. She's been acting strange ever since you come back. Musa looked up, his brow furrowed. What do you mean? She said she has something to tell me, something about the truth. Fatima sighed, sitting beside him. That's what worries me the most. She's been hiding things from you, Musa. We tried to tell you, but you didn't listen to us. You've been gone for so long and she's changed completely. What could she be hiding? Musa asked, his voice tight with uncertainty. Fatima glanced around, making sure no one was listening. I don't want to hurt you, but what if she's hiding something about another man? There were rumors, Musa. While you were gone, people say she was seeing someone else. Musa's eyes widened in shock. What? That can't be true. Amina would never. I hope it's not true either. I didn't say anything, Fatima said. Quickly, her voice dripping with false sincerity. But you deserve to know she's been so defensive, so secretive. Maybe you should confront her, see what she says. Musa sat in stunned silence. Could it be true? Could Amina be unfaithful? The doubt gnawed at him, and Fatima knew it. She had planted the seed. Now it was time to wait for it to grow. That evening, as Amina was preparing dinner, Musa entered the kitchen, his face tense with emotion. He had been thinking about what Fatima had said all day, and the more he thought about it, the more confused he became. Amina, we need to talk, he said, his voice low but firm. Amina looked up, surprised by the tone in his voice. She set down the pot she was stirring and wiped her hands on a cloth. What's wrong, Musa? Musa crossed his arm, his eyes narrowing slightly. Fatima told me something today, something I need to know if it's true or not. Amina's heart sank. She knew Fatima wouldn't sit quietly after their last conversation. That one? What did she say? Musa hesitated for a moment before speaking. She said there were rumors about you, that while I was gone, you might have been with another man. The word hit Amina like a punch to the chest. How far would Fatima go to destroy her? She stared at Musa, her heart racing, but she kept her voice steady. And do you believe her? Musa, do you believe I would betray you like that? Musa's eyes were filled with pain. I don't really know what to believe, Amina. So much has happened, and I've been away for so long. I just want the truth. You are not really telling me much. Amina took a deep breath, holding back her frustration. The truth, Musa, is that Fatima has been lying to you from the beginning. She and the others have twisted everything. They turned you against me because they couldn't stand seeing us happy together. They've done everything they can to break me, and now they're trying to break us. Musa's face softened for a moment, but the doubt lingered. But why would Fatima lie? Fatima is my sister, and I don't know her as someone that lies a lot. What does she have to gain from this? Amina stepped closer, her voice filled with quiet strength. She gains control, Musa. She always has, but I'm not going to let her destroy what we have. If you trust me, then you will know the truth. But if you trust them, you will lose everything. While Musa and Amina's conversation hung in the air, Fatima wasn't finished. She knew that her lies wouldn't last forever, but she had one final move to make sure Amina wouldn't win. Late that night, Fatima sneaked into Musa's study and found the document she needed, papers from the time of Musa's disappearance, detailing his business dealings. If she could make it seem like Amina had interfered with his affairs while he was gone, she could discredit her completely. She took the papers and quietly burned them in the courtyard, smiling as the flames danced. This would be her last blow, without proof of what really happened. Musa would have nothing but doubt left to cling to. The next morning, as the family gathered for breakfast, a knock sounded at the door. It was unusual for visitors to come this early, and everyone exchanged confused glances. Musa rose to answer it, and when he opened the door, his face went pale. Standing in front of him was a man from the neighborhood town, someone Musa hadn't seen in years. Musa, I've been looking for you all over, the man said, his voice urgent. I have news. It's about the time you disappeared. There is something you need to know. The man stepped inside, glancing around at the gathered family before turning back to Musa. There was rumors, yes, but not about Amina. The rumors were about Fatima. The room fell silent. What are you talking about? Musa asked, his voice shaking. The man took a deep breath. Fatima made deals in your names while you were gone. She's the reason you were stranded for so long. She paid people to keep you away, hoping to take control of your business and your family. A gasp went through the room. Fatima's face drained of color as everyone turned to look at her. Musa's eyes were wide with disbelief. But it all made sense now. The lies, the manipulation, the way Fatima had tried to turn him against Amina. Amina stood still, her heart racing. But finally, the truth had come out. Is this true, Fatima? Musa's voice was cold, his eyes filled with betrayal. Fatima stammered. Her confident face said, crumbling, I only did what I thought was best for you. I wanted to protect the family. Protect the family? By keeping me away. By destroying everything I built. Musa's voice rose, his anger boiling over. You lied to me. You are my sister. You lied to all of us. And you tried to destroy Amina because you couldn't stand to see her happy. The room was silent again. But this time, the silence was filled with a different kind of tension. the weight of Fatima's lies unraveling before everyone's eyes. Musa's gaze was fixed on Fatima, disbelief and fury flashing in his eyes. He had been manipulated, fed lie after lie, and now the truth was staring him in the face. His fist clenched at his side as he stepped closer to his sister. "You betrayed me," he said, his voice low but shaky with anger. "You kept me away, lied about Amina, twisted everything to suit your selfish desires. How could you?" Fatima opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with fear. She had lost everything, and now there was no one left to believe her lies. The co-wives looked on in stunned silence, their loyalty to Fatima evaporating in the face of the truth. Musa turned his gaze to Amina, and for the first time in a long time, he saw her clearly. He saw the strength, the dignity, and the pain she had endured. His heart ached with regret for ever doubting her, for allowing the lies to cloud his judgment. He took a step forward to her, his voice softening now. "Amina, I was wrong. I should have believed you. I let them turn me against you, and for that, I am truly sorry." Amina stood tall, her eyes calm but filled with the emotions she had been holding in for years. "Musa, I waited for you. I fought for us. Even when they tried to break me, they shaved my hair just to humiliate me. I told you, right? But you didn't trust me when it mattered the most, Musa." Musa's face crumbled, his voice filled with guilt. I know I failed you, but I'm asking for a chance to make it right. I will do whatever it takes." Amina held his gaze for a long moment, the tension between them thick. But then, slowly, she nodded. "I don't need promises, Musa. I need action. Prove to me that we can rebuild what's been broken." Musa nodded, his voice steady. I will, Amina, I promise." Fatima, still reeling from the revelation, tried to regain her composure, but it was too late. Her control over the family was gone, her lies exposed for everyone to see. The co-wives, once so eager to follow her lead, now kept their distance, their expression filled with judgment. Musa turned to his sister, his voice filled with finality. "You are no longer welcome in this house, Fatima. You've betrayed this family, and you've betrayed me. I can't forgive you for that." Fatima's eyes filled with tears, her face twisted with desperation. Musa, please now, you're my brother. You can't allow just a woman to come between us. I did it for us, for the family. You have to understand this now." But Musa shook his head, his voice firm. "No, Fatima, you did it for yourself, for your own selfish reasons. And now you have to live with the consequences." Without another word, Fatima turned and fled from the room, her footsteps echoing through the empty hall. The once powerful sister-in-law, who had controlled everything, was now gone, her lies and manipulations exposed. In the days that followed, the house began to heal. The tension that had hung over the family for so long was slowly lifting, replaced by a sense of peace and closure. The co-wives, no longer under Fatima's influence, began to treat Amina with respect. They realized that she had been the one with strength all along, surviving what they could never have endured. Musa worked hard to rebuild his relationship with Amina. He was a man filled with regret, but his actions spoke louder than words. He stood by Amina's side, supporting her in every way he could, making up for the years of doubt and mistrust. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, Musa and Amina sat together in the courtyard. The air was cool, and the soft sound of the wind rustling the trees filled the silence between them. Musa turned to Amina, his eyes filled with gratitude and love. "I don't know how I will ever repay you for staying, for fighting when I didn't. You are stronger than I ever realized." Amina smiled softly, her heart lighter than it had been in years. It had to be strong, but we both learned something through all this. We are stronger together. Musa nodded, his voice filled with emotions. You were always the stronger one, Amina. I will never forget that. Months passed, and the story of Amina's strength spread through the community. People talked about how she had been humiliated, how her family had turned against her, but how she had risen above it all. She had become a symbol of resilience, someone who had faced cruelty and lies but emerged victoriously. Amina didn't seek fame or recognition, but the respect she had earned brought her a quiet sense of satisfaction. She had survived the worst, and she had come out the other side stronger, not just for herself, but for her family. The house that had once been filled with tension and betrayal was now a home where peace and trust reigned. Amina stood at the center of it all, her quiet strength and foundation upon which everything was built. 1 year later, Amina stood at the entrance of the home, watching the sun rise over the horizon. The light bathed the land in a soft golden glow, a symbol of new beginning. She had risen from the ashes of her past, and now she was ready to embrace the future. Musa walked up beside her, placing a hand on her shoulder. He had kept his promise, and their relationship had grown stronger. With each passing day, together, they had rebuilt their lives, and now there was nothing that could tear them apart. Amina looked up at him, a soft smile on her lips. We've come a long way, haven't we? Musa nodded, his voice filled with warmth. Yes, we have, and I wouldn't have made it without you. Amina turned back to the horizon, her heart filled with peace. She had survived the lies, the betrayal, and the humiliation. She had risen like a phoenix, stronger than ever, and now the future was hers to embrace. Musa walked up behind Amina, gently wrapping his arm around her shoulders. He had kept his promises. Together, they had begun to rebuild what had been broken, piece by piece. And now, there was nothing but peace between them. Thank you, Amina, Musa said softly, his voice filled with love and gratitude, for never giving up, for being the strongest person I know. Amina smiled, leaning into him as they watched the sky change color. We've come a long way, Musa, and now we can finally move forward, without fear, without lies, together. In life, we are often faced with difficult situations where people try to tear us down, just like Amina experienced. But in the end, it's our strength and resilience that help us rise above it. Have you ever faced a situation where you had to stand strong in the face of adversity? How did you overcome it? And what did you learn about yourself in the process? If Amina's story inspired you or reminded you of your own journey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more powerful stories like this one. Join our community where we explore tales of strength, resilience, and the human spirit. Together, we'll rise. Till I see you again in my next story. Goodbye.